So it's been a while since I made a video, so I thought I'd make a video. I have been riding the S22 tires for, well, the front wheel has 2,728 kilometers. The rear tire has about I think about 1,500 kilometers ish. And yeah, I'm very happy with the grip, with the feel of the tire. They're a little more how should I phrase this? They get a lot of feedback. That's good and bad. Sometimes they feel like they're slipping a little bit. They're not, but it sort of feels like it because was used to the M9RR, and they were harder compound, felt a little bit more consistent. It did have multiple compounds throughout the tire, but it just felt like it was one compound all the way around. It was so nice tire for just general riding. But those tires eventually wore out, so I got 7,000 out of the M9RR front tires, or for the front tire, and I got 8,000 out of the M9RR rear tire. Now both tires wore pretty nicely. Never got too much of a off balance. The rear did get a little bit unbalanced in the end, but you know, after wearing down an entire tire, you can't keep it exactly perfect. So a little bit of unbalance expected. Not bad at all. The grip levels, I can't really say I have experienced any huge difference. It feels like the S22s may have a tiny bit more grip in the lean, but a tiny little bit less in the straights. It feels like I'm slipping a little bit off more often using the when I'm accelerating with the S22s than I did on the M9RRs. Braking, I mean, seriously, the braking on the front tire, awesome. Grip's great. It feels like the ABS is kicking a little bit less. That may be my imagination, but it feels like the M9s kind of, maybe because they're harder, they didn't slip the same way. In wet weather, both tires are great. They're doing their job. They're not actually rain tires, so don't expect like insane water evacuation, but for general wet weather riding, not knee down riding, both tires perfectly fine. I have felt that the S22s, they have that 5 compound rear tire where they have hard center, soft sides, and then a little bit harder on the absolute edge. So when you're getting all the way to the edge of the tire, you actually feel that the tire sort of slips a little bit, which gives you a great warning that if you keep pushing it, you will lose the rear. You don't have that for the front tire though. I wish they had that for both front and rear. But I guess most people are gonna push the rear more than they're gonna push the front, so I guess I didn't think it was necessary. So I do like the wear pattern on the M9RRs, or the evenly worn tire. On the front tire I got 7,000, and on the rear I got 8. However, I put the front tire on quite a lot before the rear, and I was riding that front tire throughout the coldest and warmest part of the year. So I'm guessing if you put them on at the same time, they will wear pretty much evenly, at least on this specific bike. Every bike is different. There's a weight difference, balance, it's horsepower, traction control, everything. So don't expect the exact same results, but I can't fault the M9RRs at all. And for the moment, I can't really fault the S22s either. I do have a little bit of an issue with the front. It looks, I can't say for sure because I didn't measure, but it looks like the front tire is about to be worn. It's not a lot left on the indicator on the left side of the tire, and it has done 3,700 kilometers. So if the front tire is done in less than 4,000 kilometers, then I can't recommend it for at least touring bikes, because even a hypersport tire, I expect at least 6,000 kilometers at the very least. A front tire should not wear faster than the rear, and our rear should be able to hold for at least 6,000 kilometers. So if the front tire is done in 4, then that means you have to buy 2 front tires for every rear. That's not good. And that's the experience I had with the original S20s, which when I had to change tires after 4,000 kilometers, I did complain a little bit. Not like this is bullshit, but like, is this the serious life expectancy of an S20 tire? And yeah, it was an OEM tire, so I was kind of expecting more than 4,000 kilometers from the S22, but we'll see. I mean, if I end up having 4,000 on the S22, then I'm going to have to make a video specifically about the lack of longevity on the S22 tires, not just the S20s. But the rear tire on the S20 lasted me 7,000 kilometers. I could probably have pushed like 500 more, so 750, which pretty much makes it that you have to switch 2 front tires for every rear tire-ish. Weird, but yeah. But the M9s did not have that issue at all. Like I said, I used the front a little bit earlier, and I did switch the rear late in the season. It wasn't getting as hot, so the front tire was riding through a lot more summer, and then the winter and everything, and then back to summer again. I can for sure say that they can ride any kind of weather except ice and snow, but that's definitely not that kind of tire, so don't expect that. The S22s, I have not had those riding in the cold yet, but being a softer compound, I do expect them to have even more grip than the M9s in the cold. I do worry about that hard center line though, because that does spin up more than the M9s did. It doesn't give that same traction. I don't know if that's the treads, because they do have very big treads on the rear that the M9s didn't have, which I kind of think may make the tire fold a little bit, which I know they're supposed to do. They're designed so that the folds collapse and make the tire larger. But I think that may actually make the tire slippery, because the compound is hard and the folds sort of flex. I don't know. The M9s didn't. You had better 0 to 100 times on the M9s than you do on the S22s, is basically what I'm saying. Heating though, the S22s does definitely heat up faster than the M9s. S22 tires, heating them up won't be a problem. You'll barely make it out of the parking area and you're already getting heat in the tires. So the M9RRs, they kept their shape really well. That of course depends on what kind of riding you do. I do mostly twisties and a little bit of straights, but not a whole lot. So I would say for me specifically, I rarely wear tires unevenly. I just had to do a little bit of a knee down there. Yeah, I rarely wear the tires unevenly because I ride like the twisties, and I do ride as little highway riding as I can. Comparison wise, I mean, like I said, very little difference. The S22s, a little more feedback, a little softer, heats up a little bit faster. It looks like the front tires wear very fast. So, would I recommend either of the tires, and which one would I choose if I had to buy one of them? That's a good question. Yes, I would recommend both of them. However, if your dealer has both and you're stuck with the choice, would you like the S22s or the M9RRs? When it comes to just general riding, I do prefer the M9RRs because of that stability. They're a little bit harder compound. The compound of the 22 is so soft that it feels like they're moving a little bit. And that is especially unnerving in the beginning. You get used to it and then it's just like, oh, that's just how it feels. But when you come from the M9RRs to the S22s, you can really feel the difference. So personally, if I'm not going to do any track days and I'm not going to be on the edge of the tire all the time, I would probably go for the M9RRs. So for the moment, I have never lost the front or rear on the S22s. But like that final corner there, I accelerated out of the corner, and because the lean was a little aggressive, the speed was low, when I accelerated I felt the edge of the tire literally change characteristics. They don't feel like they're slipping. You don't feel like they're maybe a little bit slipping, but not a whole lot. Just like you feel a change in the tire when you enter the edge of the tire, and that specific feeling is very much appreciated. I wish the M9RRs had that, because that lets you know that okay, what you're doing right now is pushing it. You can keep pushing it. You still have a little bit to go on here. It's like maybe 1 or 2 centimeters of that in the edge, so you have much more to go on. But it lets you know that what you're about to do is on the border of safe. And that is, I won't say it's a great feeling, but when you actually reach that level of traction, where you just know that this is the safe limits. If I push it, it'll be fine, but it won't be as safe. And I really love that about these tires. So, front tire. You can see the rear there. So I don't know what else to tell you. Both tires are perfectly fine. Don't have a lot to complain about. If I had to complain, it is about the longevity of the front. Punctures, because the compound is softer, you will be more prone to punctures. That's just the way it is. I have been, yeah, you can see the chicken strip. So I haven't actually been to the edge on either side, though I have basically been to the edge on the left side, but not on the right. My knee pucks tell you how I ride, and I don't ride on I haven't got any track days, so this is just regular street riding wear. So I'm going to make a little add-on for my other video. In that video I said, or in this video because it's going to be spliced in this video I have told you that at 3,800 I was starting to have suspicion about the tire being almost worn down to the indicator, and I thought that can't be right. But I have since checked and checked again, and at this point I have done 500 kilometers after that video, so the tire has gone 4,300, and it is at the indicator. There is nothing left. I'm gonna need a new tire. That's not good. A front tire lasting 4,300 kilometers until the indicator is all the way to the tire tread. I don't want the S22 to be that bad. I have loved the tires so far. So the front tire is done. It's over. 4,300 is what I got out of it. So I'm going to contact my dealer who sold me the tire, and I'm going to ask him or them if that is expected life of the S22, because from what I've heard, S22s are supposed to be a long-lived tire. So I got 7,000 out of the front of the Metzeler, and the Metzeler still had a little bit left. I could have done 500 more, but there's a lot of rain, and I was riding it early in the spring, and I definitely don't want to ride a unsafe tire in wet conditions. So I changed it a little early just to be sure, just to not end up in a horrible situation. Yeah, I'm hoping the rear tire isn't as close to the edge or isn't as worn as it looks. I can't remember exactly how much I had on that rear tire when I got it. I'm thinking I'm about halfway from memory, but that's just my memory. I mean, I didn't measure, I didn't take notes. I have no idea. I am happy with the tire. It's just that I can't... When I did the last part of the video, I don't think I recommended any specific tire, but I did say that both tires were just about the same when it comes to how good they were. But if the front tire lasts almost half as long as the Metzeler, I can't recommend the S22s over the Metzeler at all, because 4,000 kilometers, and that's not on track, that's everyday riding. So if you're riding super hard in the twisties, or you're going through track days, I mean that tire will be burned out in like 3,000. Note of course that this is on my bike, and my bike is, first of all, it's a heavy bike, but second of all, it's like you have to consider balance, you have to consider everything. I need my tires to last a little bit longer. So the question I'm thinking about now is, if they say no, I can't get a replacement or a deal for a tire because that's the expected life of the tire, I don't want to buy that tire again, because I don't want to give them money for a tire that I don't find to have the life that I need. But I don't want to buy a touring tire. So if they say, okay, you get 50% on the next tire, then yeah, great. I'll just get another S22 front tire. Hopefully that will last a lot longer. If that lasts a lot longer, I will just get a new S22 rear, because I love the tire. It's fantastic. But I can't have the life expectancy of 4,000 kilometers. So yeah, longevity, I have to give it a fail to S22. So a lot of people I talk to says that that's gotta be an issue with the tire. A few have said they have had the same experience, very short, less than 5,000 kilometers on the front tire. So that it can be something that's bike related. Like I said, it's a heavy bike. It's like 235 kilograms. I'm 70 kilograms. I'm sure there's a couple of riders out there that's 100 kilograms riding ZX10s. And they should at that point then be the same weight as me, except my weight is distributed across the entire bike, not just on the seat. I'm thinking it's pretty much, with the gear, it's 315 kilograms, me included. If you have a Z1000 SX, so-called Ninja 1000, this is a 2018 model. If you have those bikes, then the S22 may actually be a bad choice. Go for the M9RRs. They will last longer, and they will give you just about the same grip. They just won't have that. You won't have the feedback levels. On the S22 you have that extra little bit of feel for the road. You can sort of feel what the bike is doing, which is really nice. I love that, which is why I like these tires a lot for everything except life expectancy, but or mileage if you want. But like I said, I would recommend the M9RRs over the S22s if there are no issues with what I have. If 4,000 kilometers is the expected life of the S22 front wheel, go for the M9RRs. They have almost twice the ride. I could easily have done 7,500 kilometers on that front, possibly even more. I don't know. I can't remember that clearly. I just remember when I traded it in, it was because I was doing a service, and I thought while I had it there, I could get it a little bit cheaper because I changed, and I thought, well, that's one less trip, you know. It's gas, it's time, it's actually been exactly 2 months. Pretty much. 2 months and 5 days or something.